Hello from Gardening at Douentza, and you're very welcome back to my mini-series Behind the Scenes at Kew. So today we're with Alberto and we are going to look at some wonderful tropical plants, an exciting array of Madagascar things, tropical ferns and other very, very rare delights. But there's a surprise in store, and it wasn't something I knew about before I went to Kew, so it kind of blindsided me when Alberto came out with this, but you'll see what I mean when you watch the video. Okay, let's see what it's all about.
So this is the zone where I'm working at the moment. It's woody tropical, so we have trees, shrubs and climbers in tropic areas. And yeah, basically it's a lot of watering, cleaning, repotting, and we basically are never ending propagating, and as soon as a plant starts to look a little bit wonky and tired, we have the new plants to take its place. So it's this what we are doing.
It looks like a pretty good place to go to work to me.
Yeah, it's a good jungle. And I like the 21 degrees.
In winter that
in
could
winter,
be nice.
yes. It's perfect.
And which part of the job do you not like?
Leaf picking. It's a never-ending job of taking out the leaves.
Passiflora leaves. Gosh, what's this now?
So that's Passiflora macrophylla.
Enormous flowers.
Enormous, and leaves.
The leaves are amazing too. And it must like high humidity, that's why
Yes,
you have it in here.
Separate tent, yes.
Yeah, fantastic. I was lucky to see those flowers. Wow. Is that it open? Does it open?
It does open. There is one first opening there.
Okay. We're now looking at some Madagascar plants. And look at this really waxy one. Part of a big, big tree.
Look all the buds up in the plant.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
see them.
Really curly leaves. From Mauritius Island.
Yes. And there are just 2 specimens left in the wild.
Oh,
So there are more specimens here in Kew than in his native habitat.
right. And this is a hibiscus with snowflake-like leaves. Or something like that. Very lacy and doily-like in any case. Now, Alberto, you're in front of an extremely famous tree, aren't you?
Yes, this is Ramosmania rodriguesi, or café marron.
Right.
And it was basically saved from, it was considered extinct for a little time. It was described then, they didn't find it anymore, so it was extinct in the wild, extinct at all actually. And then a teacher, I think, brought an illustration of the plant to class in Rodrigues Island, and children found one single tree flowering.
Right.
And from that they took cuttings, but they didn't manage to pollinate it, and then Magdalena managed to pollinate and create fruits. So
Yes, the famous Magdalena, who I've just had the honour of meeting. And you never told me he's actually your tutor.
He's my supervisor, yes.
Your supervisor. It's fantastic.
It's amazing.
His book is just amazing, the most exciting thing in a really long time, and I just did not expect today to get to meet him. And you're just such a dark horse. You never let on the best stuff, do you?
And yeah, now we have few adults plant here flowering, some more young one if you turn around there. So yeah. So it's not.
So
not
now
extinct
it's
anymore.
not, no danger of it going extinct
Yeah.
anymore.
And
So those two are the same plant?
these are, yes. So this is the juvenile leaf form, and
Wow.
this is the adult leaf.
But they're completely
Completely
different.
different, and it's a common feature in the rodrigues flora to have different leaves from juvenile to adult.
Right.
For example, this is an adult tree,
Uh-huh.
and you can see how it changes. These
Oh
are the
yes,
juvenile,
look at that.
and these are the adult. And that's because in the island there was a giant tortoise
Uh-huh.
that could reach to a certain point.
So it made its
was-
leaves unappetizing for
Exactly.
the tortoise.
Exactly. And as soon as they were out of reach, they just became adult.
Wow. A really interesting trick, isn't it? And I guess these juvenile leaves were good enough for it to photosynthesize
Yes,
with,
to grow, yes.
but not ideal. That's why the minute the
Yeah.
plant got the chance,
Yeah.
it grew the big leaves.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Gosh, so what an amazing surprise for me to actually meet one of my gardening heroes, to meet Carlos Magdalena in person, the author of this amazing book. Yeah, Carlos Magdalena in person. And if anybody doesn't know this book, The Plant Messiah, I highly recommend it. It's a fantastic read for anyone who loves plants, and that's certainly me. I'm just taking a glance here to look at some of the pictures, but I suppose the main story, or the most salient story in the book, is that of the wonderful café marron plant, which we have just seen. And this flowers very much like a vanilla or like a jasmine, but it was set to go completely extinct because although it kept flowering, nobody could pollinate it. So although it could be propagated vegetatively, that is no future for a plant. There just wouldn't be the genetic diversity to get the species going again. It really needed to set seed, and nobody could figure out why it wasn't happening. They thought, okay, it's not a plant that can self-pollinate, because some can't. And then it took Carlos Magdalena to spend a lot of time studying this to work out what the solution was. And the solution was, very strangely, that the flowers on this plant started out as male, and then when triggered by high enough heat, they would turn to female. And only by chance did he discover this, by observing some plants and certain ones that got extra heat and went on to do the deed and save the species. And a fantastic, wonderful story it is too. But Carlos has written about so many things. Water lilies, a particular passion of his. And if anyone has read this book, you will not forget the water lily that grew in almost boiling water, I think it was. Yeah, check it out, you'll hear about it. And in a few minutes we're going to see some precious Kew water lilies.
Water lily house is closed during winter,
Right.
so everything is a backup here and gets planted as again the water lily in April.
Okay, alright, so just so that they have enough warmth
Yes.
in winter. And specialist care. Temperate fern area, you said. Wow. So it's definitely a couple of degrees warmer in
Yes,
here. What's the temperature that this temperate fern area is kept at?
So it's 20 degrees, yes, around 20 degrees, during winter at least.
climbing ferns. They're very finger-like leaves,
Yes.
haven't they?
But also that one in the far back is a climbing fern.
That's a bit jungle-like in here,
It is.
all right.
They almost don't look like ferns if you look at them like this.
Yeah. The maidenhair fern is a little bit,
Yes, true.
like that. The thing about ferns is they have the most terrible names. Yeah, this one's been trained up these wires. So a small fern in a small plastic pot, you said?
Yeah.
Wow.
They are so big that leaves sometimes need to be cut halfway through because they just go over the shading.
Tell me about it.
So this is Nesocodon mauritianus.
Uh-huh.
It's a family Campanulaceae. As you can see, it's bell-shaped flower, and it was found growing on a rock cliff near a waterfall in Mauritius. Only just in that place.
Right.
And from those few plants, they managed to propagate and get cuttings and then seeds. And the peculiar thing about it is that you see the orange inside the flower.
Yes.
That's the nectar.
Okay.
And it gets pollinated by geckos.
By geckos?
Yes.
Wow. I would love to sleep in a bed with this on top instead of, what do you call those things? The canopies that they put in the tropics over beds to keep mosquitoes out. Can you imagine waking up in the morning and looking up to that? And just hope that insects don't fall in your open mouth as you sleep. And here, sadly, we must come to the end of the video, but I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked the surprise I got when I finally got to meet one of my gardening heroes, Carlos Magdalena. Thank you very much for watching, and do check back for 2 more videos in this Behind the Scenes at Kew series. And don't forget to check out Alberto's Instagram, which I'll link to in the details of this video. Thanks very much for watching. Bye!